All right, Aaron, tell me what case we're going to talk about today.
Yeah, so this one, it's in Southern California, and it's someone who is dissatisfied with their personal injury settlement after a car accident. Got a 22-year-old kid on their dad's insurance. They were in the back seat of a car. Their car gets T-boned. It's clear liability. It was the other driver's fault.
Sure.
They got really messed up, like permanent spinal cord damage, herniated disc, nerve damage, scoliosis, concussion, torn meniscus, like really, really bad injuries. So the initial offer for the other driver's insurance was only $1,500. Yeah, so that's low, right?
Yeah, really low.
What would you do if you got that kind of low offer?
Oh, well, I mean, you would either just tell them to get real or go home. You're gonna have to file suit in a case like that more likely than not. First thing you want to know in this case, what is the available insurance coverage and what does the asset picture look like for the at-fault driver, right?
This person did the right thing. They said they immediately lawyered up. The lawyer told them that driver's insurance is only able to offer $15K and the other driver doesn't really have any assets in their name. This person has $28,000 in medical bills, way more than that in legal costs. They say they're obviously not satisfied, but the lawyer's advice apparently was just to accept losses or file for bankruptcy. What do you think about that?
Let's talk about the case in general, what we have here. It sounds like to me, insurance coverage on the at-fault driver is a minimum limits case, meaning they only have $15,000 of insurance. Because I gotta tell you, based on the injuries you're telling me, Aaron, the jury value of that case, the value of it if we were to take it to court and let a jury decide what the harms and losses of the injured party are, is gonna be well beyond $15,000. So that's obviously not a reasonable offer for the true jury value of the case. But it's not always that simple when you're analyzing a personal injury case. You have to look at assets and insurance coverage, because here's the deal. If I'm driving down the road and I get hit by a dude driving a 1982 Dodge Dart with $25,000 of insurance, and he lives in a van down by the river, that 25 is all I'm ever gonna get, bro. It doesn't matter whether I'm dead or whether I've got $20,000 in medical bills. That's a $25,000 case. Unless I can find some other defendant with a deep pocket, that's all that's there, right? So I don't really know in the situation you gave me, but it sounds like what we've got here is a guy that was hurt real bad and that there's not enough insurance money to go around. And it sounds like maybe $15K is all the insurance money. Now you gotta verify that. And I'm assuming that this lawyer that's representing him has done that, right? If he has, and then they've done an asset search on the defendant to say, okay, the guy doesn't have anything to get. This is all the insurance money he's got. There's no other defendant or deep pocket we can go after to get this person compensated for their injuries. Then yeah, that might be the right thing to do, to just take the money. Now, I don't know about filing for bankruptcy, but another thing this person needs to look at very carefully is, do they have any applicable underinsured motorist coverage, right?
It says here specifically that the friend driving did not have underinsured coverage from her insurance. Now, would it be their insurance that it's covered under, or the person who got injured?
Potentially both. So the car you're riding in, Aaron, you want to look to that car first. It may have underinsured motorist coverage on it. And because you're riding in a car, almost every insurance policy for an automobile, you're going to be treated as an insured just like he's treated as an insured, because you're riding in the vehicle together, okay? But like you said, if you have an at-home vehicle, right? So you live across town and you've got your own car. If you have underinsured motorist coverage on that vehicle, it may very well apply and give you another layer of coverage, right? And so what we're doing here is we're looking everywhere we can for other buckets of insurance that might be applicable to the claim to try and get this injured party more than $15,000, because I think what's really not in debate is that his injuries and harms and losses are greater than $15,000. That's the first thing I would do, is I would go on a fact-finding hunt to try and find more insurance. But at the end of the day, and I've seen this, I've had wrongful death cases where we look under every stone, there's no other defendants, there's no assets, it's just straight, the coverage on the car that hits you is all the money you're ever gonna get. And once you've done your due diligence as an injury lawyer, and you get there, you gotta have a hard conversation. You gotta tell them, hey, there's nothing about this that's fair. But unfortunately, our legal system, insurance coverage, all that, it's really not fair at the end of the day in many circumstances. So tough case for this young man. He needs to really dig down, make sure he asks the right questions of his lawyer about insurance coverage. He needs to make sure that all of his at-home policies have been explored to see if there's any underinsured coverage. He also needs to look, is there anybody else that was responsible for this crash, right? You know, you're really in a bad spot. You're kind of like upside down in your house. Well, in this situation, he's upside down in his case, right?
You know, that was their specific question, is should they go to court? And
right.
You're saying it depends, right?
Yeah, I mean, I hate to give the lawyer answer, it depends, you know, but It depends on this. If they can find more insurance coverage and the insurance company still doesn't increase their offer, yeah, I would go to court. But if that's all you're ever going to be able to get, no matter what the result of your court case is, well, you might as well just get the money and go on about your life. You know, there's no sense going to court to get a piece of paper saying somebody owes you money if you can never collect it. That would be my advice to them. Really look for another deep pocket that may be responsible and make sure you've exhausted all insurance options on the case.